Welcome to ULPOM.
Universal Light, Pure Love Ministries.
And today we have life coach, spiritualist, content creator. He does a lot of stuff on YouTube and Facebook. Welcome, Francisco Ossa.
Hi, guys. How are you? Thank you for having me.
So today we're going to talk about a little bit more about, I've watched a couple of your shows and I'm very, very intrigued. I love the message that you have of love and unconditional love and being able to break through, rise above the negativity and get to that positive place. And I feel like that's something that's very important right now. I feel like it's much needed for a lot of those that are still, I don't like to say sleeping, but just not aware fully of themselves and what true power they have. Right. So, right. I feel like you have a good way of, getting those ones that are sleeping, so to speak, and waking them up into this whole new world, right? Or these whole new worlds. And I feel like that's important. So you're really kind of on the front lines of love and spirituality, and you're doing a great job. So where did you find your spirituality, or what was your background in spirituality?
Well, I had no background in spirituality at all. What happened was, I was just like everybody else here, doing the everyday thing, going to work and trying to make the living, chasing the dollar, trying to survive out there. And I had an epiphany one day where, a light being told me what my being was, who I was, and what my purpose was in my life. And at that point in my life, I was homeless. I was doing drugs at the time. And this person, he was a medium, actually. I always attracted mediums to me all throughout my life, and I never really went and asked questions, but the mediums always came to me with messages.
You must be a medium yourself. You must be pretty good at yourself.
You realize when you step into your light that you kind of have all these extra things in there, and then you kind of are aware. And so this person told me that I was not here to learn something, that I'm here to teach people something. And I'm here to learn, but the lessons that I've learned throughout my life were not for me, but were a gift to humanity, for me to know what it's like to be homeless, for me to know what it's like to be a drug addict. And therefore, with all those experiences in my 33 years of life, let's say 23 actually, growing up with an abusive father, alcoholic, everything, that you could really empathize the right way, right?
Yeah.
And you could really say, actually, I've been there. Because you'll say, I understand. No, you don't understand. But in this case, we can then say, yes, I do actually understand what you're saying, where you come from.
Right. And I feel like you have a good way of, and I think that's, like I said, it's much needed. I feel like you have a good way of kind of coming across to people, being grateful for what you have and really being grateful for the life you're given. And I feel like, we all learn that in a way, probably in our own life experience. And I feel, it looks like, or seems like you have learned to kind of overcome a lot of this stuff, the abusive father and all that. Oh, look at the bird.
William, yes, I'm William. That's one of my spirit guides.
Very cool. Very cool. Hi, William. He wants to be on camera. That's awesome. Let him be.
Yes. He just flies
but
whenever.
I feel like that's important is being able to use your own life experience, the hard times you have been through, to really overcome it. I feel like you get picked on or beat on so much, right? You finally find ways of finding that light. I think the light is what we need to hold on to, especially in the darkest times. Right. Would you agree?
Right. And, that's so important because after all those times, I've worked in Seattle, Los Angeles, LA, I've worked for all these airlines, and every single time it was the same insanity where I would drink and I would run away from the negative world, I think. And I was not fulfilled with what I was doing with the airline industry. Corporations was not something that I was fulfilled, it wasn't fulfilling me. So I think I was sad because my soul wasn't fed. And therefore, I turned into drugs and alcohol and such, and then, I came to the point where I accepted things. Oh, there we go. I accepted things, and that's when, this light being came and said, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay. It's almost like, oh, yeah, I remember now.
Right.
Any questions?
Not yet. Well, I mean, so what year was it about that this light being came to you, and where were you?
Actually,
What was your situation when you finally had that kind of aha?
right. So it was February 7th this year. And I was actually I was homeless in a homeless shelter. I have HIV, and this guy and I were using drugs, methamphetamine at the time, and which is bad drug, but I don't judge one that does, of course. And I was with this guy for a few days, and we were talking and talking, and I said to him, I said, um, my life, it's like it's like this. I'm homeless. I lost my job. My life has always been difficult, but I always said to him, I said, but I always know I'm gonna be okay. I always
Right.
tell I'll be fine. Like I always said that, right? And after all these times, like people think you're crazy if you think you're gonna keep, like you're gonna be okay. I'm gonna be fine. I'm gonna be fine. And then he said to me, okay, well, I have something to tell you. And he said, um, I'm, I am Archangel Michael. And I said, oh, you're that angel that my mother was praying for. And I was never into angels. I didn't even believe in God until 2014 when I had a demonic entity at my house that I had to turn to God. Right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And then because I didn't want to hear the God talk, I said no. And then this person said that he was either channeling, I think he was channeling or he was, but I'm not God, so I can't say who he is or who is anybody. So he said he was Archangel Michael and that I am an incarnated angel and I'm here to help humanity in the ascension process. And I was just like, oh, okay, that makes sense. So it's like, I was never, you don't know these things, right? But because it resonated,
Yeah.
it's the truth. It's written in there, and then you're ready to hear these things because you tell me that 3 years ago, I would have said, yeah, okay, I'm the Queen of England sometimes too.
Right.
So yeah, this was very recently, February 7th, and I started right away with this calling, because then I found a home afterwards. I found a home in the state of New York. They pay your rent if you have HIV because they don't want you out in the street, not taking your medicine. So I have this apartment that God is giving me to, help people in every way I can,
Yeah.
And I think it's very important for anybody that wants to help people to be in a center happy state. I mean, I don't mean happy euphoria, but at
Right.
least in a place where you are like good, you know what I mean? Everywhere.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And I feel like, it's commendable to you. I commend you for, being able to overcome this
Thank you.
and HIV and
And seeing
sending
your
our love and our
opportunity
healing to
seeking
you
it
as well.
Yes.
Thank you.
But I feel like you've learned to take this, all of the things that, the hurdles or the obstacles, and you've turned them into strengths.
Right.
And that's
right.
awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. And, I always tell people, I mean, life coaching, I guess, is something, where we don't enable people. We actually empower people. I'm all
Right.
about empowering people.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'll jump in the hole with you and I'll show you what I did so that you can do it
Right.
again and you could teach somebody else. Then it's a collective teaching, right? I help you and then you're going to want to help somebody else.
Yep.
And that's how we get to harmony eventually,
Yep. I think that's what we're doing, and you're doing a great job yourself. Your own individual efforts, and I heard you do readings as well, right? You're
yes. And my one of my friends, she gave me I bought a card deck, and I said, let me try this. And I don't know, I started doing it, and then all of a sudden I was just reading cards, and I have all these decks, that my friends send me, all my people that I teach things as a gift. They send me back gifts, exchange of energy,
Right.
And I have all these decks, and I love doing angel readings. I do chakra readings, past life regressions, everything, So it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to guide people, because I think there is this kind of thing that angel readings are kind of like fortune tellers, right? But when in fact I see it as more of like a guiding tool.
Yep.
And it's more of like, some people say this is for entertainment, but for me it's kind of very not entertainment, it's serious, because I'm being guided to guide
Right.
you, right?
Right.
Well, people say it's for entertainment because it's legal things.
Legal issues.
So
That's
I
true.
understand
That's
why they
true.
say that. I say that you
See,
have
that's
to say that.
something.
It's
That's
unfortunate.
something I would
Yeah.
have
It
to
is,
learn the
but
hard
Because
you
we
way.
have
do
to
take it
say
very
disclose it's for
seriously.
entertainment
Yeah.
purposes because we have no degrees or anything. I mean, I've got life
Right.
experience and what I've used and my gift, and it sounds like you've always had your gift. It feels like you just have learned to integrate it and be more aware of it. And I think that's what I try to teach and what we try to teach and share is, it's all about becoming more aware of your higher self and those galactics and those other entities or other beings that we are connected to, that we can gain information from and we can gain guidance from.
Absolutely.
And that is real, but for entertainment purposes only. Got to put that in there.
I know,
But
right? And that would
I
have been
feel
something else I
real.
would have had to learn the hard way. It's like, oops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you got to be careful and use. We're still in this 3D world, and that's the whole balance of it, right? Is knowing that you are taking this entertainment very seriously.
Right.
Your entertainment simply because we're in a world where that's what it's called.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Right.
And so to make sure we're doing things properly, that's what we say.
Right.
However, we take that entertainment very seriously,
Right.
and we
Right.
do
Right.
our best to guide and share as it comes through to us. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So
Yeah, totally.
yeah,
I guess
it's
because
finding that balance.
it's that 3D world. Yeah, I always forget. It's like, oh, here, we have this, but it's okay. I mean, it's finding the balance. Absolutely. It's all about finding that middle point of what is, so that we can do.
Yep.
I hope you're reading the comments, brother, because you're getting a lot of.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
I love-
I don't even want to touch this because then I'm gonna break it. I don't. My computer is being repaired, and I think the divine said, "Take a break." So I turned
Right.
the computer on, and it wouldn't go on. I'm like, "Oh my god, my computer is fried or something." So I took it to Apple, and it's being sent back today. But I'm like, I'm sorry, but it's very hard. I mean, taking breaks is good, right?
Yes.
But I don't work. This is what I do. So taking 2 days off the life is healthy, and that's something I'm doing probably.
Yeah.
I just take the weekends off, because otherwise it's too much.
Right.
Yeah, you say you book
Yep.
for 2 months in advance. You need decompression time. If you got readings and you're doing healings,
right.
yeah, and it's all by donation. So I'm sure you're very busy.
Right.
Yeah, and it's all a lot of life coaching. I mean, some people want readings, and then I'm like, yeah, let's do it. But a lot of people are struggling. A lot of people are just struggling with with that pain. They're lost in life. They're lonely, and
Yeah.
I say that's why I go like, you're not alone. I need everybody to know that there are people there that are always there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. That's my big thing too. Yes, we are never ever alone.
Right. And I always say, it's sad. It's sad, but it's a good sad, because then you're enabled to do something with that sadness and,
Yes.
Right.
and bring the shadow to the light. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Transmute it. Yeah, bringing them together.
Exactly. Exactly.
And find that balance. Yeah.
Right.
And that's living, and that's what I noticed. One thing I noticed that stands out, one of the many things, is you are yourself 100%. You are being yourself no matter what, and I think that's important. I think that is the definition to purity to me, is being yourself 100%. It's not, okay, I eat right now. Well, yeah, eating right is good. It's not, I don't smoke, I don't drink. It's, are you being yourself 100%? And, and are you being good to people? I feel like, if you're not being good to people, that will come back at you. I promise.
Oh, yeah. Karma, I love her. Oh, she's amazing.
Yeah.
Cause and effect.
I love her too. She's beautiful, isn't she?
She's, she teaches
Both sides, both ways.
I'm surprised that there's not a light being called karma. I'm like an
Yeah.
Hey,
archangel
there's an
karma,
archetype. Karma is an archetype.
Yep.
She is connected to an archetype, so I'm sure there is
There's
a
some
being.
sort of
I'm sure
there.
there's a goddess.
But it's just, whenever I say something is bothering anybody, I say, assess the situation and see, is this worth it for me to handle, or should I let karma take care of this?
Right.
Because it's when we stick up for situation, yes. And then when we're being picked on, when somebody is making fun of us, when somebody is saying something negative, ignoring negativity is so important, because when we entertain negativity, we're making it real.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And It is hard though, because the ego comes into play.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Oh, who are
And
you
see,
to
that's
tell
just
me
good. I
this
think
and that?
sometimes you need to face that negativity and you need to shed your light on it. And
Right.
sometimes, yeah, for the most part, though, you need to just kind of allow that to be that and you know, go about your way.
Right,
You
right,
don't need
right.
to even, yeah, entertain that. You're past that thought,
It's
right?
that enlightenment.
Right.
It's that inner peace. It's finding that inner peace. And then once you find it, it's a daily task
Yep.
to continue to find it.
Right.
You know, and I think that's, we're going to have things happen to us all the time,
Yep.
good
Right.
and bad. And, you know, it's not punishment. It's more, you know, learning from the experience,
Yeah.
enjoying
Right.
the experience,
Right.
the moment. Life is about moments. Don't get too
And
caught up
choices.
in your, you know, what you need to have and what this, you know, be grateful for what you have. If you
Right.
don't have something, your timing isn't right now.
Right.
But you know, it doesn't mean it's not coming into your life. But I feel like a lot of people hold on to things that they should be letting go. So I feel like letting go is very important
Right.
for, you know, to find that enlightenment, is letting go of all that,
Oh yeah.
you know, obligations that you feel like you have, just mentally mostly and emotionally, and letting go of all the stress and all the control that you think you have over
Right.
your world,
Right.
and
Right.
allowing spirit, right, allowing those light beings in.
Detachment. I always say at the end of the day, all these material things won't mean anything, because we
Right.
are going to be in another state of consciousness and another state of being, you know. And
Yep.
detachment from material possessions and security is key in a way to have an understanding of the universal understanding of what's organic.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's organic?
Yeah.
Like feelings are organic, my hands are organic, my thoughts are organic, my love is organic, the birds, the animals, the water, the trees, the wind is organic. Everything else is kind of wasn't here before.
Right.
And that's always the best way to compare and contrast. Is this organic or is not organic? Am I obsessing for something that's non-organic? Okay. And I always love to dissect. I call it the why. And I drive people crazy. I'm like, but why? Okay, because of this. But why? It's like finding a dead body and going back to the detective work, to the source
Right.
of
Right.
why that happened.
Your
Right.
root cause. Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And that's important. I think going back and looking at source, you know, and I during my healings, I do the same thing, and I'm sure you do, is
Right.
we eventually get led to this place where we say, okay, let's find the source of this problem.
Yep.
Because if we can't get that cleansed and healed, it's going to continue to fester. You may go away. You can put a Band-Aid on things for a while through, you know,
Oh,
whatever
yeah.
drugs or alcohol overuse or
Appendix.
anything, any abuse. I mean, any abuse, you can actually exercise too much, you know?
Yeah.
Just any kind of abuse that you're trying to hide from other things, or, you know, your pain, instead
Right.
of facing it and realizing it's already happened.
Yeah.
Right. It's already happened. You learned, you see what you need to see from it, learn from it, let go of the pain attached. It's done.
It's only a memory. Time does not exist. So if that's the case, you're holding on to a memory, you know?
Yeah.
And then if you
Yeah.
let go, I mean, if you understand that time really doesn't exist, it was just
Right.
some memory you're holding on to. And it is hard. It's so hard though, because I've been there.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
memory holding. We don't let go, and it's the trauma.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they're beautiful traumas. We have to see them as beautiful traumas that teaches us things. And sometimes those traumas were brought upon ourselves, you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Not
Yep.
all of them. Not all of them, but some of them.
Right.
We
Right.
do it. We put our foot in the mouth. We don't even know it.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Yep. But that's, you know, again, sometimes being authentic to yourself. We're here in this existence, in this lifetime, in this world for this experience.
Right.
And however it is we need to get to that X spot that we've planned out for ourselves is what we're going to be.
Yeah.
That's going to be our opportunities. That's what's going to be
beautiful. Yeah.
And
Exactly.
so, yeah.
That's it. It's like no man can take away what's yours, and if that's meant to happen, it's meant to happen. And I feel sometimes we try to be the God of our worlds.
Yeah.
And we're not riding the waves of the universe. I always say to people, let go and let go and let God ride the wave,
Right.
say bye 3D and welcome 5, right? Like let's Let's just ride the wave of the universe, and then synchronicities will happen all the time.
Yep.
When you let go and take all the universe take over your life, you're riding the waves of the universe, and trust me, everything will move for you then.
Oh, yes. Well, the universe always says yes, right? It's up to us to see the opportunity that is being laid out before us.
Right. I always say synchronicity, the world of time, you know, it's like your coffee's ready, the train is waiting for you, you're not late, you're early. And, you know, it's always like, everything just kind of happens, you know?
Right.
And when you're in sync with stuff, that's what happens.
Yep.
And it happens all the time to us. Miracles happen all the time around us, to us. And a lot of the times we don't pay attention. And it's weird. It's strange how we forget. We forget the miracles that have already happened in our lives. The many miracles. Even in the moment when it happened, you're like, I will never forget this. This is gonna, always, and it is. But you have to access those memories. I think that's another thing, is when you are feeling down, remember the miracles that have already happened to you in your life.
Right. It's like people tell me, "Oh, you're so lucky all the time. You always get saved by everything," and I'm like, "Well, I'm grateful. I'm so grateful for every single situation. I mean, for what I've lived. I mean, I should be dead by now, but I mean, but because it was so much,
Right.
But there was a specific purpose why. And I don't ask for anything. I always say, thank you so much. I can't, like, my house is so big, my apartment is big, and I'm like, it didn't have to be that big. Thank you, though.
Right?
But it's a medium-sized apartment, but still, for me, it's a lot considering. But, they want us to be okay so that we can take care of these things here, right? And, yeah, it's important, absolutely.
Yeah. You have any other questions?
Well, how do people find you? 'Cause we kind of came across you, which I am grateful for. But how do people find you?
So Facebook is one way. I have my website. I started, it's everything. You start a project and then it turns into something else, It's like your higher self is guiding you to another thing, And then I started with the life coaching. I was going to be a life coach and whatever. And then the life coach turned into, the angel cards. And then I said, oh my God, people love the angel readings. Let me lure people in that way.
Right.
And then let's help people, right? And that was exactly, I do a lot of Facebook Live. I started with YouTube. I started YouTube in April. I started with 10-minute videos, and I was like camera shy because it was, hi, my name is Francisco. I have a message to deliver here.
Yeah, I understand. I know what you're saying. I've been there.
I'm still there.
Right. And then from that, it turned to the iTunes. I have an iTunes channel. I started with podcasting. So I did podcasts, and from podcasts went to Facebook Live, and I just started kind of going out on Facebook every day, trying to reach those people in need. I always say it's not about me, it's about the message. And furthermore, it's not about me getting attention. I mean, yes, I need the attention to reach people, right? But it's for them, right?
Right.
Exactly. You're basically saying it's not about fame, it's about just reaching more people. I'm right along with you, brother.
Yep.
I had my time of chasing fame, and that's an empty road. There's nothing at the end of that. There's nothing in that.
When I was younger, I was said, I want to be famous. But I'm like, I don't even know for what. And, it's when you're young, you just kind of say, that'll be kind of fun. But then it's like, then you realize, no. But
they make it look so fun. It's part of that brainwashing, that universal brainwashing we have in this country. So,
I talk about social conditioning.
And so many of us, being rich and famous, because that's what we grew up thinking was the best, right?
Right. But you know what? At the end of the day, none of that matters, because and I always say, if the consequences are your success, that you have abundance and popularity, then that's just the consequences of that. But
exactly, that's the cause and the effect. Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's the cause and the effect.
That's right.
It's being able to just be doing what you're doing, and if your cause or your effect causes this, or if this cause made this effect. Either way you look at it, that's the beauty in it. But when you're chasing just that, you find it's a very empty road, and the opportunities that come to you aren't necessarily the ones that you really, you really have to kind of sell something of yourself to take those opportunities, right?
Right.
And so, you see the difference in those. No, go ahead.
Sorry, no, and some people are like after chasing money, which, money, I always say we can put money into we can demonize money, or we could use money the right way, but there's like a double-edged sword with money, because money is a third dimensional stage thing that has that vibration attached to it, right? But we can use it for good things, right? So
transmute it. Yep, transmute the energy.
Right.
Alchemy.
Exactly. Right. So it's like we have to demonize it, but at the same time get rid of it, because we don't need money.
Well, basically, we need to not idolize it.
Right.
We need to understand it is a tool, be able to kind of, exchange energy in a simple way, but but it's nothing to be desired and aimed to gain. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's a tool like any other
tool. I always say these are my soldiers. I send 50 soldiers to do something, 20 soldiers over there. Okay, go. And there go marching, take care of my stuff. You know what I mean?
Right.
So when you see it like that, then it's just soldiers, you could call it that, green soldiers.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
I mean, there's just so much out there, guys, and there's so many people that need help, and everybody's helping each other, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Would you like to do maybe a 3-card reading for all of us, for the group, and whoever's watching?
Sure. I have right here. So I have angel messages. I have this one here. I could get, we could do this one. So I could do a group reading, right, for everybody?
Yep.
Yeah, all right, for all of us.
All right.
Anybody who sees it.
Let's do it. Yeah, so I always say, it's so important that we are true to ourselves, and like you said, it's so important. All right, so I got the no card. So no. This doesn't mean no, it's not going to happen. It means no. Sometimes this could be, no, I'm going to take care of myself. No, I'm not going to go out tomorrow. No, I think I'm going to stay home tonight. No, thank you so much. I think I had enough alcohol, right? No.
Right.
And we have to really, really remain positive, guys, right? Remain positive in every way. Positivity is the oxygen of the soul. Positivity is the oxygen of the soul. It's like cement and water. The soul needs the positive energy in order for it to kind of fluctuate through your body, right, and your being. And we, compromise is a key also for us to really, really get things done. Compromising halfway, we can have everything. We can have everything, but we have to first take a turn, and then a right, and then a left, and then a right. And then the last card I'll pull, we must listen to our intuition, guys. So important. The intuition is the higher self guiding you here in this plane for you to have this divine path. And if I may share a story, that'll be great.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
All right. So I was walking through, I went to a park in Staten Island called High Rock Park, and I never get lost. It's so annoying because I love to, and even when I'm driving around or walking, it's very hard for me to lose sense of direction. But when I went to the park, I said, I want to get lost because it's fun, right?
Yes.
I just kind of go wander and see where I end up because I don't want to know where I'm going. I would love to just kind of get lost in the woods. But it happened that, I sat down and I said, okay, it's getting dark. Let me go back. So I'll say, let me just take this road going this way, which, it'll lead me to one of the 5 exits this park has. And all of a sudden I get to a fork. And then I'm like, which way? Left. Okay, left. So I listened to that little voice, left. And then all of a sudden I get to a 3 fork. I'm like, right. Wait, what? Left. Okay, no, left. Okay, left. So I went left. And then all of a sudden I'm starting to realize that I'm being guided exactly the same way I came. And then I said, oh my gosh, but wait a minute. I wanted to get lost. This is not fun. That's not fair. And then I realized that I end up exactly the same entrance, which at one point I did get lost. I did kind of lose my way.
Yeah.
But the point of the story is that life is like you walk in the woods. There's no left, right directions.
That's right.
It's all these kind of trails that we have to go through. And if we listen to your voice, your little voice inside, it will definitely guide you in the path that you meant to have for your divine mission.
Right.
Right?
Yep.
Because we all have a divine mission, and we are overstimulated with so much things that we lose track and we forgot. I mean, we all know we forgot why we're here.
Right.
And some of us at least. But if you listen to that, then it's important. That's why meditation is so important. Television is good too, but in moderation, I think,
Right.
Right.
Yep.
And meditation is definitely something, I mean, I can't say it's mandatory, because some people are very gifted and they don't need to meditate because they're so connected.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I was just having this conversation earlier that with somebody I was reading for, is, that's what came up, is basically a lot of people will meditate for a while and they'll break through those thresholds, right? So they'll already understand. So it's like, kind of, once you see and feel,
Right.
And understand where that meditation brings you,
Right.
you're already there and you can access it a lot easier. So if you don't feel like you're connecting enough, I feel like meditation is a good thing for you, and it will, show you more about yourself than anything.
Right.
And when you look deeper within yourself, you realize there's so much more out in the world, out in the cosmos, right?
Everything.
So it's I feel like it's a good thing for, if you want to keep that and maintain that balance. I think, taking that time, but you don't need to. It's not mandatory, and I'm glad you said that, brought that up.
Right, because some people say, "Oh, you have to meditate," but I always say, for this group of people helping, I think for the beginners, it's a must almost.
Right.
For the people that the 144, I always say meditation, especially if you're not aware of what's happening. I think it's a must, because we need to feed the soul with the energies, and everybody, right? But now again, I can't say it's a must to everybody. But if somebody's lost in their path,
The bird wants to play.
I know. But then he pulls on this, and he has this closet like, William. Oh my God, William is 1, so he's a baby.
I love William.
It's like the omen for not having a child. So God said, "Here's child, take care of it." And I've always said, this is karma, because it's good karma, because this bird his next lifetime will be a human, maybe. So by me loving this bird, I'm doing a favor to the next whatever is happening.
Right.
You know what I mean?
You're just loving him, and you guys have a connection. That's really on
him and I,
I think. Yeah, I mean, you got good chemistry together. He's messing with you. He's trying to he's basically trying to relax you, saying, "Quit taking yourself so seriously.
Keep you centered."
William.
But as far as the meditation conversation, I like to keep it very simple for people that find meditation very difficult. I just teach you how to breathe.
Yes.
And in breathing, and the more aware of your breathing you become, the more aware of kind of relaxing the mind you become, the easier meditation seems to come. And, so I like to keep it at that very beginning level and just teach people how to breathe. Yeah,
absolutely. And, meditation is, it's kind of an oxymoron. It is so hard for someone that never has done it, but it's so simple.
Once you figured it out. Yep.
Oh my God.
I agree.
And people are like, I can't sit quiet. And, I've always, you guys notice, right? When you're in a room with people and everyone's quiet and somebody says, "Can somebody say something? This is annoying."
Right.
And I'm like, oh, well, that's because you can't bear with your own thoughts sometimes, right?
Yep.
And when you're in a state of meditation, I think just silence, quieting everying, you're receiving, you're like more of an antenna. It's like a quartz. Right. It's like an amplification of this, thing. And then you're in receiving mode,
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And then you can actually perceive things, feel things. And everybody's going to have a different experience from meditation.
Right, exactly.
It's not, you can't say, "Oh, what do you feel?" Well, I don't know. So it's not a competition. It's not that, "Oh, what do you see? I see this, I see that." And everybody is going to be shown what they will be shown for their guided mission. It's not what you want to see. It's what they will show.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep, exactly.
And it is. I mean, really, the competition, there is competitiveness, but it's more about you striving to do better or get better or master something. Your learning of your mastery, right?
Right.
So that competition comes, it's a good thing to be critical.
Right.
We just don't want to get to a point where we're just hating ourselves.
Right.
It's a good thing to tell yourself, hey, I could probably do this a little different, or take that, constructive criticism, which a lot of us don't take very well. We get upset about it.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to stay competitive within your soul, as competitive as in, I want the adventure. I'm ready to go after it, and I'm ready to deal with what comes, the good and the bad. That's the warrior spirit I think we all have within us.
Right.
You just have to access it. Your meditation, if you haven't found it yet.
I love it. And, that's the thing, it's like I always tell people, just get in the habit of thinking to meditate. That's already progress, I meditate. I try 5 minutes, and it's okay. That's why sometimes I do like Facebook Lives. I do guided meditation. So I'll jump live, and then I'll say, okay, let's meditate, guys, and then people come, and then, breathe in, breathe out. And it's the breathing. You're absolutely right.
It really is the breathing.
That's how you start. That's how you make the ground, the foundation,
Yeah.
That's how you bring this physical being that we are living and expressing and experiencing today, and connect it with our higher beings through the breath.
Exactly. And they say the more you breathe, the higher you go, and then you come down. It's like the breathing, the top of the breath actually means almost like you're up there and you're bringing knowledge down, and it's kind of like this elevator thing.
Right.
Yeah. And see, somebody who's Tara L said, we should compete with ourselves, not others. We are all on different or paths in differential aspects of what we call this life. The only competition is within you. And that's true. That's why I love the game of golf so much. Now, I grew up playing baseball, playing sports, and I loved it. I mean, the competition, most of the time we got up, we shook each other's hands at the end of the game, and it was fun. It was an exciting moment, right? So that's why we did it. But if you think about it, even in team sports, you're pushing yourself to do a great job, right? And I feel like that's something that it should always be taught. I think how to work as a team. And there is competition. That's what I'm saying. It's healthy competition, though.
Right.
Healthy competition, not competition where, oh my gosh, where it gets to be envious and, real bitter. And, we see it happen all over, within our families, online, and everywhere. And, I think it's good to stay competitive and have that competitive edge.
Oh, yeah.
We just don't use that edge to stab somebody in the heart with it.
Exactly.
Right. And that's the thing, I feel like there's so much, there is, unfortunately, unfortunately, kind of not fortunately, there is a jealous people in the spiritual community, right? And it's kind of like having a martini with French fries, it's like, it's kind of like an oxymoron, and they're very hard to identify because people mean well, but then they kind of misguide you, manipulate you in what they think, whatever, right? So that you kind of don't go on, you know what I mean? And it is what it is, just have to know and experience. This is new to me also. And I've been, because of my lives, I've been people have been coming to me, telling me things, and I'm kind of like questioning, I'm like, interesting. Well, let's, and then you kind of question things, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
For the back of a better word, but yeah.
Well, you're connected. You're fully connected to your higher self, and that's why you have, how old are you, if you don't mind my asking?
33.
33. So you're still relatively young. I'm 10 years older than you, brother. I feel
we look fine.
But you have wisdom of a 43, 50-year-old. And that's because you're able to listen to yourself and connect. And you draw from your experience. Right. And I think that's very, very critical, or very crucial. And us being able to do these jobs is, we had to have fallen on our face 20 times before during the same thing, just so we can understand, because it's hard. Some people can't, they're not at a level where they can not judge and just give the reading as it comes and let it flow without judgment. And I think that took me some time. I still held back my judgment, but through doing this work, I learned that judgment of others, race, sex, creed, color is all bullshit.
Yeah,
it's all bullshit.
It's all primitive.
Love,
me,
yes,
so primitive.
That's the unhealthy competition right there.
Right.
That's the unhealthy competition. And, it challenged me in a lot of ways because I grew up in kind of a smaller area. So I had that kind of smaller thinking mentality. Not to say that everybody from small communities are like that, but, older communities that came from different generations.
Oh my God, yeah.
And you kind of pick it up. You pick it up. You get programmed yourself. So,
right.
There was times when I had to ask, Spirit or God or Creator, whatever you want to call him, is this right? Is this okay?
Right.
And of course that is. Are they good people? Are they hurting you? Are they hurting anybody else? Okay, then.
Right.
That's what's important.
Yeah,
if they're hurting somebody, speak up. Do something about it. But if they're not hurting anybody, help them out.
Yep.
Yes.
Shed some light, plant a seed. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we have to help everything. I mean, judging people, and this is kind of crazy. I never understood when I moved to the U.S. that we had a race problem. I was born in Chile, in South America. And, when this whole race thing, I'm like, what does that mean? What does this mean, race? And that's like, oh, so people are like that, really? And then I realized, and I opened my eyes, and I said, wow. So it's just sad, but, what we have to do is really, I always say, if we ignore the race talk, I feel like sometimes it's not that it's better, but it's almost like we have to ignore the negativity. That's what I'm saying, right?
Right.
Now, not ignore the problem, but we have because if we keep talking about it, we're not letting it go. So then we're stuck.
It's how you're feeling about it, right? Yeah, talk about it. Say, and that's a lot of it. I had this conversation the other day. It really is just not understanding the person or being very new to it, not allowing that new experience or that new connection, so you can understand. Right. Yes, there are differences, right? My color of my skin is different. I have different traits, but we all can connect. We all can. We grow, grow fuller. If that's a word.
No, makes sense.
We have more fulfillment by having a variety within our life, making connections from all races, all creeds, all colors, all sexes, and it's important. I think that's what a lot of our great teachers have taught and spoke out about. At least the great ones that I remember is allowing people and accepting those people if they're loved in that love or they want that love, allow it. If they want to learn and they want to come up, even if they've come from a bad background and they've had a history. We all have a freaking history.
Right.
So, it's really, if you're willing to raise to that higher vibration, are you willing to start being more honest with others and with yourself, more importantly?
Yourself, most important.
Be more accountable for your own problems and your own issues that you bring up in your life. Be more grateful and not complaining all the time of things you don't have. These are ways of raising that vibration. I think you do a great job explaining that during your lives, during your webinars. And I want to say, continue it because I love what you're doing. And thank you everybody for being here. And can you tell everybody one more time, I think you're on YouTube and you're on Facebook. Do you have a website?
Yes. www.bekindlovingspiritual.com.
Okay. So www.bekindlovingspiritual.com.
Yeah, and I don't charge for my services. Everything is donation based, So it's like we just, help people. I help people.
Share the energy. It's shared energy. It's you're exchanging the energy. I understand. Yep. Well, thank you very much, Francisco. I enjoyed it. We're going to have you back on soon.
I think so.
Thank you so much love to you. Much love to you all who watched and shared.
Yes.
Thank you. And Tammy's going to be on here pretty soon with a special guest.
All right.
So make sure you check that out. I think it's at 4.
I think
6 Eastern time, 6 p.m. Eastern time.
Right.
And
I will.
So
thank you so very much
should be a lot of fun. Oh, I'm grateful that you've been here. Thank you, Francisco. Have a great weekend, brother.
Bye-bye.
Bless you, everyone. Much love.